What's up, y'all? It is 8:30. It's gonna be a late night vlog. I took a shower, then I was just out all day today. So right now, I got the love of my life. Miss Chick-fil-A, okay? Got me see, actually, I don't want to say what I got. Got me a large fry. I got the classic chicken sandwich, man. And then, I don't know if y'all can see it, but I got root beer. Lately, I've been on a root beer run. I don't know why I've been just like chugging root beers for so long. Like, I'm gonna get to eating. I'm not gonna eat on this vlog because I'm a little hungry and I don't want to eat and talk. But I'll get back to y'all when I'm done. All right, so we back. This is gonna be a late night vlog. Dive into what I'm doing and just vibe. So, but as always, I try and talk about things others might go through and things I'm going through. It's just, I'm in a space now where, I have to really be very focused, and I like where I'm at right now. I really do. And I'm really understanding being grateful. Grateful is something that is very hard to maintain, but it works in just a magnitude of ways. You could be thankful for your health. You could be thankful for the people in your life. You gotta be thankful for your family. And I think being grateful allows you to be more present, if that makes sense. There's just a tendency for us as people to always either go backwards or think about things in a nostalgic way or through a rose-colored lens glasses, or we could be so far into the future that we're not allowing ourselves to be present. And it's a balance. Sometimes you have to think about things that you've done in the past and know that, like, your past mistakes make you who you are. So you can always be upset about decisions you made in the past, but you're not where you are if you don't make those mistakes. And so, like, I try to keep that in the back of my head every day, because I'm human. I get upset sometimes about things that I've done that I might have mistakenly have done, and I always say, like, I'm in this reality because of the things that I did in the past, whether it's good or bad, and you can only change the future of what you got to do by putting yourself and reflecting and diving internally, because a lot of people just want to I don't know, man. You kind of think about, like, so many things, and you wonder if am I doing the right thing? You just have to overall be thankful, because everything given can be taken away, and I thank God that I was born with a family. I had a mom and dad. I had siblings because you know, my life was literally like really chosen. And, you know, I could have had all type of things, but like everything was really like so pinpoint for me to succeed that I can't be every day, man. I'm so grateful because it's like, you know, I think about so many people who trying to navigate through life with so many, just so many like things within themselves that just restrict them from truly living. You know, some people grew up without a dad, some people grew without a mom, you know, and I was just fortunate and grateful and blessed enough to not have those things. So it's like you have to be thankful for where you are and thankful for what you got, you know. And you know, I just emphasize, you know, always push yourself, always, you know, don't force though, you know. I want to say push because push, you know, push is starting to really have like, I wouldn't say a negative connotation towards it, but it's just, there's so many different things and so many different aspects of life that things are supposed to naturally attract. These aren't supposed to always be force, you know? And, you know, that human side, as much as I be trying to just naturally gravitate towards things, do things like, you know, whether it's create content, whether it's, you know, study for, you know, my certificate, you know, there's things that like I just have to, as you have to commit to actions. You know, that doesn't necessarily mean push. You know, when things are like forcefully doing, like you start to realize like those things aren't like it's actually like chasing it is actually like pushing the goal further away, if that makes sense. Like things have to come together in order to build, you know? And when you put yourself in a predicament, close the door. When you put yourself in a predicament where you're just always hustling, you know what I mean? Like, and I'm not saying it in a bad term because like that was, you know, in the back of my head. You gotta work hard, you gotta do all these things, and you gotta do all that, and like I've just been learning so many things just recently where it's like, not even just recently, but I'd say like within the past 2-3 years where, you know, it's smart work, right? It's learning how to use making those 2 hours productive than the average 9 to 10 hours at how people go through life. You know what I mean? Like even social media, you know, like it feels for me like it's very easy for me to get off social media. The only reason like I know I have to stay on is because, like I say, I'm building a music career, so it's like I have to constantly be engaging, you know. But if I had my way, like I really would not be using social media, you know, like. But it's the only way to connect and engage with people, you know. But you know, I just want to always like push forward and let the chips fall where they may, you know. Like I don't know, man. I don't just like recently. I don't just like just go after things, you know. Like I think like it just takes a level of intent, patience, organization, and attraction to like allow all of this stuff to come together. Because man, great things don't like they do say like any great things don't come fast, like, you know. But if you know, if you were always thinking about it, or if you were always wanted to do these things for a long time, and you're just trying to constantly figure out how to naturally attract those things, then things start to change. Things start to build, you know. I'm reaching a point where, like, none of this stuff really, like opinions, like, it's just, like, I just laugh at them now, you know. I just say, like, be yourself, you know, and don't feel like you have to please everybody. You don't have to please everybody, you know. Life is very polarizing, you know, and people are gonna like you, people are gonna hate you, you know. And if you're accepting of that, life becomes better. So you just gotta be, like, just aware of what you're doing. You know, be aware of where you are, you know, and don't allow people to just dictate what you're trying to do. Every time I'm recording these videos, every time I don't feel like talking, every time I don't feel like doing it, it's like, but you want to get your story out, and this is what I try to do. You know, I can only be truthful. I encourage people to feel the same way. Believe in what you do. You know, don't degrade yourself for, you know, reaching new levels, and be authentic. You know, say the truth when it might be hurtful. Because at the end of the day, the truth is only going to save people. You know, or what you think to be, you know. But sometimes you got to keep your mouth shut too, though. And let people figure things out. You know, you can't always be the savior for everybody's problems either. You know. Because you can talk to your blue in the face. Some people still going to make those same mistakes. So, you know, but when you're in a space like myself, you know, I gotta focus on me. You know, I've always tried to be a person that's always trying to help others, you know, but you gotta figure out, do you care about your life more than trying to appease everybody? And I have to choose my life first before I can help anybody else, you know? So, just a little calm, you know, some words. Always going to be here to talk, and that's why it's called Chat Vlogs. Not just because of my last name, Chapman, but it's because I'm going to always talk. I'm going to show you my life. I'm going to show you what I'm doing. Because it's just like, I'm a great speaker, you know? And, you know, I want that. You know, for the longest, I was always trying to avoid it. You know, yeah, I don't want to be seen in this light. I don't want to be seen in this light. Let me be me, you know, and let everything fall where it may. If I gotta be a YouTuber, or, you know, or I'm gonna always be able to create, you know, what narrative I want to create for myself, because I'm gonna be the one that's in control of the music I make and all these things. And that's why I started Chat Vlogs, letting people know, hey, look, I make music, you know. I'm using certain platforms, you know, to, you know, build who I am, but I'm a creative, of course, across all, you know, platforms. You know, I'm into tech. I'm into, you know, I got a degree in computer science, you know, and, you know, that's who I am. So, you know, at times I be feeling like, man, I wonder if the world really wants to see somebody like a person like me on a high level, and I'm not sure if the world is even ready for that, you know. But all I can do is try every day. All I can do is put my best forward. All I can do is put my best foot forward, and I will do that. What the heck? I need to slow this down now. Oh. I think we getting somewhere.